Your player character swings their sword. It connects with a goblin. The goblin flashes red and disappears. Is that it? If this is the core of your game's combat, you might have a problem. Your attacks are weak, and weak attacks create a boring game. They feel disconnected and weightless, turning what should be an exciting fantasy into a chore of clicking buttons until the health bar is empty. A good attack isn't just about dealing damage, it's about making the player feel powerful, skillful, connected to the action on screen. It transforms a simple mechanic into a satisfying experience. This essay will guide you through the process of fixing those weak attacks. We are going to deconstruct what makes an attack feel good in a 2D RPG, and provide clear, actionable steps to improve your own. You will learn how to think about the fundamental components of an attack, from the moment the player presses a button to the satisfying feedback of a successful hit. The goal is to move beyond simple damage calculation and into the realm of game feel. By the end, you will have a practical framework for creating combat that is engaging, fair, fun. The principles we will discuss are not complex. They do not require a massive team or years of experience to implement. Instead, they focus on small, deliberate design choices that have an outsized impact on how your game plays. We will cover the essential building blocks: input, timing, hitboxes, and animation. Then, we will explore how to layer on feedback, combos, and enemy reactions to elevate the experience. Each step is designed to be straightforward and accessible, using plain language and concrete examples to illustrate the concepts. This is not about chasing the flawless combat of a multi-million-dollar A title. It is about understanding the core ingredients of satisfying action and applying them to your own project. Whether you are a solo developer working on your first game or part of a small team looking to refine your mechanics, these guidelines will help you create attacks that players will enjoy performing again and again. Let's start by breaking down an attack into its most basic parts and building it back up piece by piece into something truly special. Before you even write a line of code or draw a single frame of animation, you must start with a clear goal. What is this attack supposed to do? What is its role in your combat system? Is it a quick, low-commitment jab for poking at enemies? Is it a slow, heavy swing that leaves the player vulnerable but deals massive damage? Is it a sweeping move designed for crowd control? Define each attack's purpose in a single sentence. For example, a fast 3-hit sword combo that's good against single targets. With goals defined, first, technical element. Player input. The input is the player's direct connection to their character. It needs to be responsive and intuitive. For a 2D RPG, dedicate specific buttons to actions, one button for a light attack, another for a heavy attack. Process input cleanly, check for the button press and immediately initiate the attack sequence. Avoid complex multi-button inputs for basic actions. Save those for special moves. The player should feel the character acts the instant they decide to. Next, define the hitbox, the invisible shape that determines if an attack connects. Don't use the entire player sprite as a hitbox. That's sloppy and inaccurate. Create a separate shape, usually a rectangle or a circle. The hitbox should only be active for a specific duration of the attack. It should not exist before the swing. It must disappear after the swing is complete. This prevents enemies getting hit just by walking into the player after the attack. Size matters. Slightly larger than the weapon's visual is usually fair. Finally, attack timing structure. Every attack has 3 phases: wind-up, active, recovery. Wind-up is the preparatory motion before the hit. Active is when the hitbox is enabled and can deal damage. Recovery is the follow-through when the player can't act. Tuning these durations is the secret to game feel. Fast attacks, short wind-up and recovery. Heavy attacks, long wind-up and long recovery to balance damage. Pseudocode, player state machine for a basic attack. Function on attack, button pressed. If player.state, Jacquerie idle, Jacquerie player.state, Jacquerie windup, player.timer, Jacquerie 0.1, Shopper set windup duration, play animation, attack, Shopper windup. The timing you defined with your windup, active and recovery phases must be perfectly synchronized with your character's animation. Animation is what sells the attack to the player's eyes. It visually communicates the speed, power, and direction of the move. During the wind-up phase, the animation should clearly show the character preparing for the strike. The key poses should build anticipation. When the attack timer transitions into the active phase, the animation must reach its key contact frame. The weapon should be at its fullest extension. Enable the hitbox at that exact moment. If the hitbox activates earlier, the game will feel disconnected and confusing. This synchronization is non-negotiable. Use stretch and smear frames for a fast visual punch. Elongate the weapon for a frame or two to sell speed and power. The recovery phase is where the character follows through and returns to idle. The animation must communicate the cost of the attack. Short, snappy recovery, founds, quick jab, fast follow-ups, long, heavy recovery, on two-handed axe, slower follow-ups. Visual storytelling enforces mechanical balance. If a powerful attack has a short, weightless recovery, it feels cheap. Example, a 12-frame sword swing. Frames 1-4, wind up, raising the sword. Frame 5, contact, active hitbox. Frames 6-7, smear frames, hitbox still active. Frames 8-12, recovery back to stance. Deactivate the hitbox immediately after the active frames. Tight coupling of timing, animation and hitbox is the foundation of good-feeling combat. Shonin Dafri Tiri. Feedback is king, making hits feel real. You have designed a perfectly timed and animated attack. The player presses the button, the character swings, and the hitbox connects with an enemy. What happens next is arguably the most important part of the entire sequence: feedback. Without strong feedback, attacks feel like hitting cardboard. Feedback is audio and visual cues that tell the player, yes, your attack landed. It is the reward for their successful action, and it needs to be satisfying. Visual feedback is the first and most obvious layer. When an attack connects, the enemy sprite should react instantly. Flash the enemy white for a moment, or flash the enemy red for a moment. Another powerful tool is a small amount of hit stop or short hit lag. For critical or heavy hits, amplify this with a subtle screen shake. Sound design is the other half of the feedback equation and is just as crucial. You need a library of distinct impact sounds. A sword connecting with fleshy monster should sound different. A hammer hitting an armored skeleton should sound different. The sound should play the instant the hitbox makes contact, perfectly synchronized with the visual feedback. A satisfying, crunchy impact sound can make even a low-damage attack feel great. Do not forget the sound of the weapon itself as it moves through the air. A light dagger might make a sharp shing. A heavy axe makes a lower-pitched whoosh. Finally, you can layer on particle effects to sell the impact even further. When a sword hits, spawn a small burst of sparks, or a splash of stylized blood. A fire spell should create embers. An ice attack should create shards. A physical strike should create sharp, angular impact lines. These effects should be brief and punchy, appearing for only a moment before fading away. Combining all these elements, a color surpassenstaan, a color flash, hit stop, a crunchy sound, and a particle burst, creates a symphony of feedback that transforms a simple damage number into a visceral, satisfying moment of gameplay. Pseudocode. Function on hit. Enemy. Apply damage. Enemy. Attack. Damage. Enemy. Flash. Color. White. 0.1. Flash enemy white for 0.1 seconds game. Hit stop. 0.05. Pause game for 0.05 seconds. Play sound. Impact. Sword. Flesh. Spawn particles. Sparks. Enemy position. Enemy. Knockback. Attack. Knockback force. Section 5. Building chains. The art of the combo. Once you have perfected a single attack, it is time to let the player chain them together into combos. A combo is simply a sequence of attacks that flow into one another, rewarding the player for rhythmic button presses. The key to a good combo system is the combo window. This is a short period, usually during the recovery frames of an attack, where the game listens for another press of the attack button. If the player presses the button within this window, the character seamlessly transitions into the next attack in the chain, instead of completing the full recovery animation. This makes the combat feel fluid and responsive. Your first combo should be simple and easy to learn, typically a 3-hit chain of light attacks. Diagram: light attack 1, light attack 2, if button pressed in window, heavy finisher. Each attack in the chain should feel distinct. For example, the first attack could be a quick jab. The second could be a wider slash that has slightly more range. The third and final attack should be the finisher, a more powerful move with a longer recovery that deals more damage and provides a strong sense of finality. Quick opener, linking follow-up, powerful ender. To implement this, you can use a simple counter in your player's code. When the player successfully initiates a combo attack, you increment the counter. The game then plays the animation and uses the timing values associated with that step in the combo chain. If the player completes the full combo, the counter resets to 0 and the character returns to idle. If the player fails to press the button during the next combo window, the counter also resets and the character returns to idle. This structure is easy to expand. You can add different combo paths by checking for heavy attack inputs or directional presses, leading to more advanced and expressive combat systems. It is also important to give the player options to exit a combo. This is often called a cancel. For example, you might allow the player to cancel the recovery frames of any attack into a dodge or a block. This adds a crucial layer of defensive strategy. If the player sees an enemy winding up for a big attack mid-combo, they can make the split-second decision to abandon their offense and prioritize safety. This ability to cancel actions gives players a greater sense of control and prevents them from feeling locked into long animations, making the combat feel more dynamic and less punishing. Section 6. Beyond the basics. Advanced techniques and enemy reactions. With a solid foundation of basic attacks and combos, you can introduce advanced techniques to add depth and variety to your combat. A classic example is the charged attack. By holding down the attack button instead of just tapping it, the player can charge a move. While charging, the character might glow or a sound effect might build in intensity. When the button is released, the character unleashes a more powerful version of the attack. Increased damage. Larger hitbox. The ability to break an enemy's guard. These moves introduce a risk-reward element. The player is vulnerable while charging, but the payoff can be significant. Another way to add depth is through directional attacks and special moves that often consume a resource like mana or stamina. Pressing up and the attack button might result in an anti-air slash useful for hitting flying enemies. Pressing down an attack could perform a low sweep that trips foes. These special moves should have clear utility and feel distinct from the standard combo chain. They give the player a toolbox of options to solve different combat puzzles. A special move that hits a wide area is perfect for dealing with a swarm of weak enemies, but its long animation might make it a poor choice against a single agile boss. Of course, a great attack is only half the story. The enemy's reaction is what completes the conversation of combat. When an enemy is hit, it should do more than just flash red and lose health. It should physically react to the force of the blow. A small amount of knockback, pushing the enemy away from the player, can make hits feel more powerful. Implement a hit stun mechanic, where an enemy is briefly unable to act after being struck. Chaining attacks together quickly can keep an enemy locked in hit stun, rewarding aggressive and precise offense from the player. The ultimate enemy reaction is, of course, death. An enemy's death should be as clear and satisfying as a successful hit. Avoid having enemies simply vanish. Instead, play a dedicated death animation. Crumble into dust. Explode in a shower of gore. Be dramatically flung across the screen by the final blow. This provides a clear punctuation mark at the end of an encounter, confirming the player's victory in a gratifying way. These reactions, from a minor flinch to a dramatic death sequence, are essential for making the game world feel believable and responsive to the player's actions. Section 7. The final polish, balancing, testing, and a concluding checklist. You have built all the components, the timing is tight, the feedback is crunchy, and the combos are flowing. The final crucial phase is polish, which primarily involves balancing and testing. Balance is the art of tuning numbers to ensure that no single attack or strategy is always the best option. Your charged heavy attack should deal a lot of damage, but its long windup and recovery must make it a risky choice. Your fast-light combo should be safe and reliable, but its damage output should be modest. Play your own game, over and over. Fight every enemy type with every move. If you find yourself always using the same attack, it's a sign that something is out of balance. A structured test plan is invaluable during this stage. How does the attack feel against a single, slow-moving zombie? How does it feel against 3 fast-moving goblins? Does the area of effect spell feel useful when you are surrounded? Watch for unintended behaviors and bugs. Does a hitbox ever get stuck in the on state? Can the player get locked in an animation permanently? Invite friends or other developers to play the game. Watch them without giving instructions. Where do they get confused? What feels unfair or frustrating to them? This external feedback is priceless for identifying problems you are too familiar with to see. Polish also comes from adding small, almost subconscious details that enhance the experience. Add a subtle camera shake. Add a brief moment of slow motion. Add a UI element that glows when the player has enough mana for a special move. Add unique whiff sounds for when an attack misses, providing audio feedback for failure as well as success. These tiny touches accumulate, contributing to a professional and polished feel that makes the game a joy to play. Remember to also consider accessibility, allowing players to remap controls or disable effects like screen shake. Your work on combat is never truly finished. It is a process of continuous refinement. But by following a structured approach, you can build a system that is robust, satisfying, and fun. Good attacks are the heart of a good action RPG, and now you have the tools to make them beat strongly. Keep this final checklist in mind as you develop and iterate. Final checklist. 1. Clear goals. Does each attack have a defined purpose? 2. Simple inputs and timing. Are inputs responsive? Is the wind-up timing clear? Is the active timing clear? Is the recovery timing clear? 3. Precise hitboxes. Are hitboxes active only during the correct animation frames? 4. Synced animation. Does the animation visually match the attack's timing and power? 5. Layered feedback. Are you using hit stop, color flashes, sounds, particles for impacts? 6. Fluid combos. Are combos easy to perform? Clear combo windows, cancel options. 7. Enemy reaction. Do enemies flinch, get knocked back, have satisfying death states? 8. Constant balancing. Are all attacks useful in different situations? Have you tested them extensively? 9. Subtle polish. Have you added small effects like camera shake or slow motion for emphasis? 10. Accessibility and performance. Can controls be remapped? Does the game run smoothly? End of section.